double that in the next year because sales are going to double. And the kind of people that I have here, I have a feeling that we'll be able to triple in the next 18 months.
One of the things that Hema actually confessed to me when the cameras were busy shooting the shop floor is that it's the shop floor which really has the same kind of fire in her belly. Of course, the rest of the organization does, but she's most inspired by people on this floor because they're so demanding and they're ready to push the bar all the time. It's been a while, actually, so many years. I haven't felt green grass under my feet. It feels wonderful. I've kicked off my shoes. So has the managing director here. Hema, it feels nice to have the grass under your feet.
It's beautiful.
You have the world under your feet. Now you have the green grass under it.
I feel very connected to earth, and as I was telling you, I miss the grass at home. On my terrace, I have pots. And here I have just acres of it. So it's beautiful.
But you know, when I was researching for this interview, when I was researching for this show, I did a lot of research on your site itself. And the first thing which struck me about your factory was, I wouldn't believe it was a factory shot because this was this whole green thing. And the camera, of course, has captured how beautiful this building looks really. A conscious attempt at making it so green, a conscious attempt at making this not look like a shop floor factory kind of a look.
Absolutely. In fact, Ashok, my husband and CTO, actually asked the architect when he was designing, the first brief we gave them was make it look like anything but a factory. And I think the other themes that I talked about was, we are in the energy business, but we'd like some serenity. There has to be a sense of calm. And amazing things have been achieved with this building, I think, because when people come here, they say they feel a fine balance of serenity and high energy and high vibrancy. I think a lot has been achieved because of the greenery, the very rustic look of the tiles, the beautiful Mangalore tiles that we have on top, a bit of the grey stone, the granite, contrasting with the green. It's just, and we have a very, very dedicated staff who make sure that every square inch of this place is kept green and clean.
Day for you know, so many meetings, in and out of meetings the entire day really, juggling many hats. But with the markets at an all-time high, I'm sure you're being hounded by PE investors, by people who want to invest in your company. No plans of listing despite the unprecedented growth that the energy sector is seeing?
Well, I agree with you that there is so much hype and hoopla around the power and energy sector today that if one were to go public, I'm quite sure we'd be oversubscribed several hundred times. But from our particular standpoint at the moment, we have no specific plans. But should we find a great idea for an acquisition, if we find a company whose culture matches ours and I need to raise cash, I know there's no time like the present.
But when you say you may want to raise cash and acquisitions in the pipeline, any details that you'd like to share with us at this stage? What kind of acquisitions will you be open to? What would be the size and space of these acquisitions?
You know, to answer that, I'd have to tell you a little bit about how quickly our organic growth rate has accelerated. We have been having a CAGR, a compounded annual growth rate of between 35 and 40% over the last 5 years. And at some point we realized that organic is fine. At some point we'll have to probably do inorganic acquisitions, inorganic growth. And when we looked around, we found that very small companies don't make sense. But what was critical for us is that the culture of the company that we were going to acquire truly matched ours, because I'm not sure that I mentioned to you through this entire hectic day that we're a company which follows a very, very high code of ethics. We do not do bribery and corruption, so it's very critical that we do not mess around with the culture that we have created in this company. The scale could be anything between $5 and $10 million. The space could be anything from products to software and services in energy efficiency, or anything in the environment space. But I must tell you, we have indeed looked high and low, and it's not just in India. We have looked at Europe. We have retained people to look for us in the US. At the moment, we have nothing on the horizon, but you can never say never.
So never say never there for Conzerv, of course. When and if that acquisition were to happen, cultural integration will really be the key. We'll leave Hema to wrap up for the day. come to the end of a very wonderful day. It is Hema's birthday. Ashok's come home early and we'll of course join in the celebrations as well.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mama. Happy birthday to you.
Uncork the bubbly, as they say, and as our boss's day out comes to an end with Hema Hattangady, we do not just wish her, Conzerv, but the larger cause that she stands for, all the very best. She has many more miles to achieve, many more heights to scale. Here's wishing her all the best in all her endeavors. With camera person Kumar in Bangalore, Supriya Srinath for NDTV.